What's up, everyone? Today we're going to talk about telekinesis. More specifically, the ability to move an object using either the mind or the body's bioelectric field. So, um, I could talk about the theory and all this behind it, but essentially, as I understand it, I'll kind of just sum it up. You practice energy manipulation, an internal martial arts, to get your body's own internal mechanism going to generate more chi, more life force. The more you do this, the more magnetic you will become to that life force. Now, the second part to that is all things, all matter is also made up of this life force. So, by you becoming magnetic with this life force, you can attract other things that also are made up of the same life force. That's the theory. It's very, very simple, very basic. I mean, we're not talking about you know, anything really too complex. You think about two electromagnets, you take one and you power one on, you give it a high voltage, and you take like a weaker one, or you just take I guess a magnetic object in this scenario, and obviously the electromagnet, you keep cranking it up, and it will eventually create a field strong enough to where it pulls the object. I mean, is that not basically does that not make sense? It kind of does to me. And, Mr. Science Man says, well, none of that makes sense because there's no such thing as the internal mechanism for chi, and we don't even know what chi is. We can't prove it. But there is such a thing as being objectively subjective. And, people who do internal martial arts already know. But there are mechanisms when you're in your body, the three wheels. I mean, it's one thing, you have a whole class of people talking about this thing, these three wheels in your body, and you have a whole other class of people that say, no, it's fake. But those other class of people, the ones that say it's real, are the ones that actually do the work to sense it and feel it. And then you have these guys that are external and they just observe. They say, well, the numbers don't add up, so it's not real. But I mean, there are several aspects to science itself, even modern science, that requires a faith gap. I mean, hell, most things in life require some form of faith gap. And I feel like in this modern age, we have decided that faith gap is unnecessary. And I mean, you really think about it, everything is so physical nowadays. You're stuck on your phone, and it's really funny is everything is so physical, but it's also not because it's all digital, and digital isn't physical. So it's like the world itself is imploding on itself, and it's proving on both sides that there really is no physical to it. It's an illusion, like the ancients have been saying for hundreds of years, for thousands of years, probably. And so let's say that you're you've gotten past the nonsense, and I call it nonsense. I really do. When people are like, "No, it's fake," it's like, you know, I can understand if you sat there and you did it and you put in the work and the effort and you realize that there was nothing there. But once you put in the work and effort, you realize real quick that holy shit, there is something here. There's something to it. But then when you try and go and prove it to somebody, they're like, well, can't prove it. Obviously, it doesn't work. It doesn't real. At the end of the day, it's just you. And what you believe in and what you care about is more important than what other people think that you care and think about. There's a lot of people who believe that You have to conform. Okay, especially in big business, right? You can't be can't look like me and be a businessman. It doesn't work that way. You have to be professional. Wear a suit, tie. You can't cuss. You can't do any of that. You have to pretend. You have to pretend to fit in until eventually you do. And what you don't realize is, in that scenario, they've taken away your childhood, your creativity. They've taken away who you actually are, and they put this uh, basically this robot in its place, and you become the robot. You become the robot, and you know it's a lie until you yourself believe it, and then you even fight against it. Just like in the Matrix, he describes people so intrinsically attached to the system that they will fight for it. Your police officers, anyone in government, anyone who is well established in the majority of control. Those kinds of people, they are not going to want to give up. And see, the thing is, in order to do telekinesis, in order to go and get on this path, you have to be a loving motherfucking person. And, you know, it, that's a lesson all within itself, really. It shouldn't be. It should be common fucking sense, but it's not. It's like this world teaches you very early on, like almost like kindergarten, that if you're not looking out for number one, you're shit. If you don't got a job, you're not making money, you're not contributing to society, you're trash. You're not worth it. You should just die. Really sad. Really is. I keep getting off topic. 7 minutes in, let's just jump right to it. Let's say you're over the BS. It's time to actually start moving energy. And that's real basic. Like, let's say you're a real beginner, you don't know what you're doing. Your awareness is probably one of the most important things when it comes to being a person altogether. I will say, really, it doesn't even have to. You don't even have to consider it magical at all, because the more aware of your environment and yourself you are, trust me, you you don't even realize it. Like, especially nowadays, everybody's on their phone. They're stuck on their phone. That's all they do is they look at their phone. They have no idea what is going on around them. Okay, but if you are aware, not only can you see things that other people can't, you'll notice things that other people won't. You'll also hear things that other people won't. And unfortunately, you'll kind of seem like this kind of person. For me, it's really strange because, like, I look around at people, and it's very rare to actually have someone who's actually paying attention to what's going on. Usually, everybody's stuck on their phone, or they're just looking down or looking away, or they're just not paying attention. The more attention you pay, the better off you will be. But that's like, just a good advice. But now we're actually going to do something. You take your hands are really powerful. Like, they're conduits. These are conduits. Your mouth is a conduit. Your feet are conduits. Your sexual organs are conduits, obviously. But your hands, these are these are powerful things. And there's a lot of discussion in the energy community about hands versus no hands, hands versus no hands. Look, when I focus on my hands, my mind immediately jumps back into the magical mindset. How many animes have you seen where that homeboy's got a fucking, Powerball in his hand, Dragon Ball Z, Even Naruto with the the mudras and shit. Hands are important. Hands are very important, and all this, if you're not using your mind only, in that case, you're actually sabotaging yourself because you can do a lot of shit with your hands. You can move and manipulate energy. You can do Tai Chi, Qigong, all that great stuff. But if you're not thinking with your hands, how are you going to know? So your hands are important. So you focus on your hands, specifically in the center, in the palm. That's a great place to start. It's very sensitive there. But you focus on that spot. And if you're a beginner, chances are you're going to have to look at it. When you do, you'll notice a little sensation, like a little tingle, maybe an increase in pressure, something. You will notice something. Where you're focusing on, there's something there. Now, if you're a beginner, then you might want to use your eyes, but you follow that up or down or to the other palm. Because what you're doing is you're moving your awareness. And as the ancient saying goes, where your attention goes, your awareness follows. So just by thinking about this spot and then thinking about it moving up to here and then maybe moving down, I am moving energy. You can think of it like a fluid, right? This is all theory. It feels like a fluid, so we'll just say it's an electrofluid. When you move your awareness through, you're actually creating ripples in that fluid, and that in turn moves the energy. So, for example, if I started like here and I moved up to here, what's actually happening is a rippling effect that's going to kind of do this. And now, of course, if you're just beginning, it's going to be a lot less. It's going to be more like from here to here, or maybe even from here to here, but you're still going to feel a sensation. And that's basically moving your energy. That is the concept of it. Once you understand that, then you'll practice it. You definitely want to practice this. This is one of those things to where you realize that you can practice energy manipulation just about any time of the day, doing just about anything. Usually, you usually want to be relaxed, but you don't want it to be a crutch. You want to be versatile. You want to be able to take in energy doing whatever you want because you never know when you might need more energy or you might want to do something with energy. That's kind of beyond this right now, but you start with that. You start with feeling your energy. And that's the thing. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for that sensation. Now, this isn't your energy. This is your awareness that you're dragging through your body's energy. And more likely, the scientific thing is you're actually stimulating the nerves, and that's creating, uh, think of it like a static electrical charge. The more you move it, the more you do, the more of a charge it generates. Now, again, if you're a beginner, you can actually reach a point to where it stops moving. Like you just cannot move it because your body is not used to that much charge. You can only go so far. Think of it in electromagnetic terms. Your body is only conductive to a certain point. The more you do, the more conductive you become, the more energy you can take in, the more you can generate, the more you can push out. I mean, it's again, it's very basic concepts. Let's see. The next thing to talk about would be the Dantian. Uh, Dan, we're not gonna, however you say it. um, it's basically I haven't done very much research on it. I've only just done the practices. From what I understand, it is like a pump, a generator for your chi. But the thing is it's not in use naturally. Like your body has chi in it. You have to have life force in order to live. If you had no life force, you're dead. Whenever you die, you lose your life force. Again, basic concept. Whenever you move your awareness to your lower belly, okay, you do it right and you're nice and relaxed and you're calm. And you feel it down there. You'll feel a pulsing. That pulsing. Uh, I don't know. That's your dantian. Once you have a focus on it, once you feel it, you're gonna do something. It's gonna sound kind of strange. As your next step, but your next step is to be breathing in through your nose, but you feel it down here. Now, if you're not relaxed, if you cannot feel this, you're gonna have a hard time doing this part because you must be relaxed. Relaxing is how you can focus on your awareness, and once you're relaxed, and I guess I should explain a little bit more about relaxation real quick. When you relax, your brain's frequency goes from a high alpha state, basically whenever you're running around doing chores, all that kind of stuff. When you relax, your brain frequency drops and drops and drops until it reaches beta, I believe. I could be wrong. It reaches like beta or theta, one of those, or probably something else. Anyways, it goes down to a point to where when the brain frequency drops, what happens is usually you're up on only using your logical side. Very rarely will you use your creative side. Whenever your brain frequency drops, there is a sympathetic connection that happens with both hemispheres of your brain. The logic side can talk to the creative side very easily. Now, as opposed to this, like let's say you're out and about and you want to, we're gonna kind of just go on a really big tangent here. Let's say you want to cast a spell, and in order to cast a spell, you have to imagine the sigil that you want to launch. Now, if your if your brain frequency is in alpha, then it is going to be really hard to not only imagine that sigil, but to focus on it as well. And then launching it and doing all this stuff, no, you're not going to be able to do that. Whenever you calm down, you relax, you have access to that side. And that's where magic happens. That's where all of this stuff happens. That's where energy work happens. So if you're tense and you're all, waiting on something and, all nervous and stuff, this isn't going to work. There's another reason why a lot of this stuff is dismissed right off the bat because they think that you can just kind of go into it and, you get the results or you don't. But there's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of preparation. You have to prepare your mind and body for this kind of stuff because, for one, you're talking about something that's socially accepted as not only wrong, but as like hocus pocus. Like, why waste your time? You know, do something real with your life. Be a man. And I don't mean that in a gender way at all. I just mean like grow up. You know, you have to worry about all that stuff. All the while trying to make ends meet, trying to feed your family, trying to survive, but also trying to realize that it's all illusion and mind over matter is the only actual technology that we need. I mean, really, I mean, maybe going down on another tangent here, but let's say that we just break through, right? Tons, hundreds of people realize that they can move shit with their mind. It's an easy deal. Anybody can do it. It's a commonplace thing. Okay, so all the work that we've been doing, like say construction, maybe that's all. We no longer need machines to do it. We just do it ourselves. I mean, not even gonna get into pyramid theory. Some people say that they levitated the stones together. I actually believe there's actually a theory. This lady translating an alien or something like that. She said that they thought the pyramids into existence. They saw them in their minds, and within a moment, they were there. And it was something like they had always been there because they were always going to think of them. Yeah, that might be a little crazy, but it's an interesting thing to think about. I think it is. To dismiss it outright would be illogical. What proof do you have against it? What proof do you have for it? So I jumped on another tangent. But going back, you feel that pulsing, and then you connect your breath to that pulsing. So you breathe in, and you feel your stomach expand. You do this once, twice, maybe three times until you when you do it right, you'll notice you have a stomach kind of wind, is what they call it. It feels like wind is inside your stomach. Not to be confused with butterflies in the stomach, but it's a very peculiar sensation. It's actually kind of cool feeling. But once you get that, you keep doing it, there'll actually be a point where you feel you can't breathe in any more into it. I believe the Buddhists would kind of keep it there and they store it there, and then obviously some of them would get the big bellies. But there's actually another school of thought where you take that energy and you push it up your spine. You forcibly push it up your spine. And I'll be honest and I'll say I was one of those people that did that a lot. And I noticed that two things happened when I did. One, it would be damn difficult to do. And that was because you could feel yourself pushing against something. And a lot of times, uh, I didn't discuss them, but the chakras. When you move energy up, you're moving them through the chakras. And if you have a blocked chakra, like for example, my throat is usually blocked because I don't say the things that I want to say usually. A lot of times I'll get cut off, and I'll just okay, that's cool. It wasn't important anyways. So a lot of times, you know, energy would get stuck, and you would feel it. It would feel like that kind of thing. Like obviously it's not moving anymore. And in actuality, what actually would happen is it would get stuck in my heart because it couldn't travel to my throat, so it gets stuck here. But once you did actually push it all the way out, again, two things would happen. You would bliss out. It would feel really good, and not necessarily like an orgasm or anything like that, but it would feel good. You would feel like it would feel good. But also, it'd be basically drained because you just pushed out all that energy, and so uh, the third way and the proper way, I think, because doing this seems to really really vitalize the body and kind of like if you after you do it a few times you actually start feeling your aura, you start feeling your energy moving by itself. It's feels right, feels proper, feels like hey, this is unlocking some internal mechanisms that I and maybe even science doesn't know about, but who cares? It's working, I can feel it, and I'm noticing side effects. So, and that and that is where you push the energy down through your perineum. And what this actually does is it floods it up the spine. And now, as opposed to trying to push it up the spine yourself, doing it this way is because it hits a negative. And this negative uh, kind of polarizes the energy to where it wants to come back up to the top. So instead of you pushing it forward, like pushing a repulsing field against another field and then finally pushing it through, you're actually uh, uh, going with the flow, going with the current. And so you push that energy down and it's repolarized and put back into you. And this creates all these side effects. I mean, you do it enough and you start to realize that you're bioelectromagnetic. And like if you sat here and you tried to do like a chi ball, and basically that's where you feel the energy in this hand and feel the energy in this hand, you put them together, and once you feel the connection in your mind, you try and picture the energy turning into a ball. And what happens is your mind programs the energy into that ball. So when you do that without doing the internal stuff, you'll feel it. You'll feel that ball there, and it's it feels like a little staticky kind of magnetic-ish ball thingy. But I mean, and it's the kind of thing where like if you focus on something else, it disappears because you don't have the electricity. You don't have the oomph, and that oomph comes from your internal circuit. Okay, I was talking about the hands and stuff. There are mudras, right? And then really, what is a mudra? A mudra is a completion of a hand circuit. Okay, there are certain ways you can connect your hands, and it will complete certain circuits within your mind and body. So literally, having your hands like this, you have circuits that are not being completed. You do. I can't remember any of them, and I think one of them is like the doggy thing, and another one is I believe this one is one of them, or no, I think it's yeah, I think it's I don't remember. Doing those, I think this one specifically is a mind circuit. It's supposed to like connect your. It's supposed to help with memory retention and shit like that. And the thing is, it's like when you do this by yourself, you might feel a tiny little charge, especially when you make the right connections. There's a tiny charge there. You feel a circuit. You feel it. And whenever you do the internal stuff, doing stuff like this really starts to crank things up because your body is already acting like a electro circuit now. So everything around you starts to become alive because you yourself have life energy that has become transformed in a way, right? You're taking life force and you're taking your body and magnetizing it and creating electricity with it, and you're giving it off. That's what telekinesis is. That's what magic is. That's what energy manipulation is. It, it's very logical. Like it just makes sense. Like why are we not researching this shit, man? I mean, like I know that we have a lot of people who don't understand how crucial this is. This isn't like, hey, yeah, it'd be cool to move objects, that's what I do in my side time. It's like, no, man, that's the side effect. I mean, and who wouldn't want that as a side effect, really? I mean, come on. Are you really gonna sit there and tell me that you don't want to move objects? Are you gonna tell me and sit there you don't want to feel the connection to the shit around you? I mean, it's very logical. And I guess for me, I think with my heart a lot, almost too much. I know I think with my heart too much, if there is even such a thing. But yeah, you start doing these researches and stuff. You start looking into things. You're not looking for disproof. That's what you have to understand. Do not try and disprove something. What good is that going to do? All you're going to prove is that that person's perception of that thing is wrong. Telekinesis itself is real because we are real. We are bioelectromagnetic. Anybody who's done the work will know. And that's why they call it the great work, because it is the work, the only work that we should be doing, not you know trying to survive. And I feel like telekinesis is one of those things where it's like you start getting into it and you really start pushing your energy and you really start trying to move and manipulate your energy. You start unlocking and realizing things that you didn't even think to realize before. It's like this whole other life opens up. You're no longer just this person who feels alone and isolated, or that feels oppressed, or feels targeted. You realize the truth that it's all an illusion and that you and everyone else here is having an experience. And I mean, that's the belief. That's one of those beliefs that no matter where you go, that is concrete. Everyone believes that we're having an experience. Some people are twisted and all tied up by religion and loyalty to the state, to God, to the creator. But man, I can't help but feel like the creator told me is like, man, just live, exist, feel. No. Don't worship me, man. I'm just a guy. Just a guy, man. Leave me alone. Let me meditate. Go knock on the sky. Jeff Bridges was Jesus. That's what that is. I think I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna upload this, and anybody who wants to listen to 33 minutes of telekinesis talk can listen.